move to the Vancouver Canucks. This I think this is going to be interesting. Chris has created an interesting list. So go ahead. I will leave this for Chris. Go ahead.
All right, just give me 1 second to pull up my list here. All right. So for me, there was several that are obvious. So we're going to start off with Petey, Bo, Brock, JT Miller. And as far as the forwards, this is where it gets a little bit interesting in the sense that I decided to go with Pearson because I think he still is good enough that he's worth protecting. Tyler Motte is just that scrappy underdog guy that doesn't get nearly paid for how much he's worth, and I think he's worth protecting. And the one that'll probably stir up the most controversy with everyone here is my protection of Matthew Highmore. I know that some of you guys will probably come after me saying that I probably should have protected Lind or Gadjevich or one of the other guys that are currently playing for the Comets or the to-be-named Abbotsford team. And as far as defense, I decided to go with Myers, which might be controversial on Canucks Twitter. I'm not sure if it'll be controversial here. Nate Schmidt and then Juolevi. I think those last two are fairly obvious as far as why they should be protected, and you have to go with Demko as far as protection. DiPietro is good, but Demko is the future. We got to keep him.
My reaction to that, Chris, is that's probably the popular list with a lot of Canuck fans. I mean, the ones that were left exposed are the ones that have been getting speed bagged by people online as far as being useless. So I don't think you're going to run into any controversies there. And as far as Highmore, I mean, they just traded a player that they had high hopes for with Adam Gaudette to bring in Highmore. So I think that they would be committed to him, and they'll take their chances with those other RFAs that you mentioned as well.
Yeah, that was one of the two reasons why I decided to go with Highmore. That and just with how confident Green was with playing him in his limited time with the Canucks.
Yeah.
So you're saying they're more high on Highmore. Okay, got it.
Oh, my gosh. That's worse than both Sean and I's jokes.
I'm that jokes I approve.
I agree with the majority of that, Chris. The only person that I would remove Highmore for would be Zach McEwen, just because of his position, his age. Both him and Highmore are up on RFAs at the end of next year. It's just more position for me, just because of the depth that Vancouver did have down the middle. I think that that's probably the reason why he wasn't pushed up within the lineup a little bit. And Tyler Myers is my other one that's like teetering on the fence. Overall, Schmidt and Juolevi, I think that those are no-brainers, but I could potentially see them exposing Myers potentially with that cap hit, with that amount of term left for a potential Chatfield. Otherwise, yeah, I'm on board with you.
Yeah. I think the last spot is up for grabs. I think it is something that the Canucks need to find a way to make a move to get someone who's more worth protecting than a McEwen, a Lind, a Highmore, or a Gadjevich. Just because you look at everyone out, like you just look at that, and same thing with that last defensive spot too. They've got two spots that I think are available to find spots for, but right now I think the only one I quibble with is Highmore, but that's because I think in my opinion I think you're going a bit younger with Petey and Hughes, and you've got Höglander coming up, you've got Puck Colson coming in, and I think you want to try and keep the young players together, and I think that's why I would go with Lind, but it's not as big a deal. It's not that big a deal for me because I don't think Seattle will end up taking one of those younger players. I think they'll end up going for more NHL ready players.
I would argue Highmore is still only 25, but I hear you.
I agree with Chris's list. I think just in terms of Zach McEwen, he's had the opportunity. I know Corey Hergott, friend of the podcast, loves Zach McEwen. I love Zach McEwen too, but I don't think he's taken the opportunities that has been given to him. I think Matthew Highmore is going to surprise some people next year. I think he's going to be one of those pleasant Canucks surprises. I think the fact that Green trusts him does say a lot to me. I think the fact that they put him in the lineup, don't forget his playoff bubble experience in Chicago. I do think that that's a pretty shrewd protect. And you're only going to lose one of Lynn, Gadjevich, and McEwen, if at all. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, this might be my hot take, but I kind of see McEwen as like the new Virtanen, only in the sense that we have higher hopes for him within the fan base, but he isn't living up to that potential.